Now, she is the sitcom superstar, best known as one half of Will and Grace, but away from the bright lights of Hollywood, actress Debra Messing has turned activist to take on social injustice across America, even going head-to-head with Donald Trump. Now, she joins us live from New York to tell us why she's teamed up with Eva Longoria and Hillary Clinton to challenge the status quo. So a really warm welcome to you, Debra.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Now, we're going to get on to all that juicy stuff in just a moment, but before the competition, we were talking perfume. We need to ask you, what perfume do you wear? What does Debra Messing smell like?
Well, I have a lot of allergies, so I wear oils. I've tried some very expensive perfumes, but what always happens is when I wear this one oil, people always stop me and ask me what I'm wearing, and I get it at the local drugstore for about £5.
I love that. Debra, what is it? What is it?
It's called Skin.
Oh.
And it's a light musk.
Oh, look, lovely. Yeah. And Syra's nodding because she knows all about oils and skin and everything else.
Debra, I must ask you, I was a big fan of Will and Grace. I was shocked to read that during the filming of that series, you lost so much weight that you started out what would be, you know, a normal size 8, which is a 12 in this country, and then over all the filming, whether it was conscious or unconsciously, the weight came off you. I mean, do you want to tell us more about that? Was that pressure from the producers or was that pressure from the industry?
I definitely think that the industry has a unrealistic standard for women and what is perceived as being beautiful. So at the time in the late 90s, the women who were really famous were waifs. They were tiny, and I was just normal sized, and I think I internalized that sort of pressure to fit in, and I started losing weight. And what happened was, as soon as I started getting smaller, everyone around me started saying, "Oh, you've lost weight. You look so good."
Oh, God.
And of course, when people start telling you that you look better, you just sort of take that reinforcement, and I just kept losing weight, and until finally my adrenals crashed and I was exhausted, and I realized my body just could not withstand that being that small.
Do you know, I think there's something as a lot of women can identify with. It's so refreshing to hear you just talk honestly about it and use the words, I was normal size. It's normal to be the size that you are. I'm aware that we've not got a lot of time with you, so I wanted to ask you as well that obviously there was a little bit of conformity there, understandably, because you're young and you want to get on, this is your dream. You mentioned in a previous interview that when you did your first film, you were asked to sign a nudity clause. Obviously, you know, you're the same age as I am. Looking back now, what would you say to a young actress who is, again, like you were, starting out, asked to sign something like this?
You know, I was put in a position where I was lied to by the producers. I was told that I was working with a director who demanded that every woman that he worked with signed this waiver, whether or not there was nudity in the script or not. And there was no nudity in the script. And I said I would not sign it. And the producers called me and said, "We promise you, you will not be asked to be nude. This is just to assuage his ego." And I trusted them. And then I got on the set, and I was informed that they wanted me to take my clothes off, and it was horrible. And obviously, it would not happen now with Me Too. Yeah. I think that if anyone tried that, it would certainly become public right away, and it would not be acceptable.
Well, Debra, you are now in control. You are empowering women yourself. Tell us about your amazing podcast and the fantastic women you're bringing to light.
Thank you. It's called The Dissenters. And my partner, Mandana Dayani, and I, through our activism, became super fans of these people who decided to take a step towards making a difference. And we just decided that we wanted to celebrate these people and to sit with them and ask them about their journey, about the obstacles that they had to, overcome, and to really just empower and inspire our listeners, to make everyone know that you don't have to be special. You don't have to have any certain education or certain number of followers on social media to be an accidental activist.
Yeah.
All you have to do is use your voice when you see something that doesn't look right to you. And we've interviewed some extraordinary women, Jane Fonda, Eva Longoria, Hillary Clinton, but we've also met people that are not famous names, and they were particularly inspiring.
I'm so happy to say that Debra Messing has stayed on the line with us. Debra, thank you so much. I'm sorry we ran out of time live on air. I wanted to ask you the question about what is it like to have Donald Trump tweet you, and not in a very complimentary manner.
I thought it was surreal, and honestly, I just felt like, and in my response, I expressed this, I felt like there were such horrible things happening in our country. There were children being held in cages at our border. And so I just said, there are much more important things to talk about, and I am certainly not one of those important things right now. So please just put your attention towards those children. And the last few years have been surreal. So I guess it really does make sense in the larger scope of things.
So tell us more about the kind of guests that you have on your podcast. It's called The Dissenters, and the whole idea of it, just to look up what the actual word is, a dissenter is someone who stood up to an injustice or challenged the status quo or has fought to find a better way. And you've had amazing guests. You've had Hillary Clinton, Jane Fonda, Eva Longoria, Jamila Jamil. Who would you say, I know it's difficult, but who would you say has been your favourite guest so far?
Oh gosh, it's like choosing your favorite child. But I think that the person who really blew my mind was a woman named Amanda Nguyen. She's not yet 30, and she is nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. She was sexually assaulted at Harvard and realized that the law was not adequate. And so she walked over to the law school and found a professor and said, "I'd like to write a law. Will you help me?" And she did, and she took it to Washington, and it passed 100-0. And now the Sexual Assault Survivor Bill of Rights is in 37 states.
I love stories like that.
Incredible. That is
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
Debra, I wanted to ask you as well. How do you think a lot of your activism now is based in? It comes from the fact that you're a mother, and that actually motherhood makes you selfless and care more about the world that we live in.
I absolutely think that when you become a mother, your entire worldview changes. Yeah. You become less self-centered, and you become a protector. And, so I think certainly when I saw the imagery of, children being put in cages at our border, it's impossible not to see those images and not imagine your own child being treated like that. So I do think that it does sort of increase your empathy and does increase your feeling of responsibility to try and help make a world that is better for your child.
Debra, thank you so much for staying on to talk to us today. It's Debra Messing, and her podcast is The Dissenters. Thank you.